This is the vocabulary assignment for Latin 3 at the Independent School for Wednesday, the 17th of September. In the left-hand column here are the words that we're going to translate tomorrow in the order they occur in the reading. Okay, so it's exactly in this Latin word order. In this column, I've put the dictionary head word. That is the word you will look it up in the dictionary to find its meaning. When that head word is different from the word that occurs here. So Maecenas, for example, iter, for example, will be in exactly those forms, so there's no reason for me to say anything to you about it. So for facit, you would look up facio. Facio means I make. T on the end means third person singular, which is makes in English. Da is day. Quodam, you look up quidam, and quodam goes together with da, on a certain day. Maecenas is the name of the patron of Quintus. So subject is Maecenas. What he did is dixit. But first there's an ablative absolute here, Quinto Arcesito. So for Quinto, you would look up Quintus if you didn't know his name by now. For Arcesito, you would look up Arcesso, summon. So Arcesito means summoned. And the way you translate ablative absolutes is with the noun, Quintus, which ends in O, having been Arcesitoed, summoned. Okay. Dixit, if you look up Dixit, go to the head word dico, D-I-C-O, and find that it means speak or say. The dictionary forms that it will give you are dico, dicere, although it will always abbreviate it like this for you, dicere. That's just there to show you its third conjugation of the four main conjugations. Dixi is the perfect tense. I have spoken, I have said. Dictum is the past passive, having been said. Okay. So of those choices, the stem that matches our stem is this one here. So see dix and dix. Okay, so this is perfect. The T on the end just means he or she. In this case, Maecenas. Maecenas said, you would translate it. Okay, next one, ego, you can look that up. Iter, we had that once before, so you can just copy what's given here. Facere, we looked it up already here, so you can just copy what's there. Facere, the RE part is an infinitive, abbreviated like that, and it means to blank, usually. Debeo, that's the dictionary form there, so it's easy to look up. Brindisi, we had up here already. Okay. Visne is a two-part word. It's from this difficult word volo, so it goes like this. Volo, I want. This, you want. Volt, he wants or wishes. Okay, so this part of visne is the same as this form here, you want, and ne just means question. Sorry about that. Means question. Do you want? To is the same as the dictionary entry. To is our word thou. Me is the accusative singular of ego, I. Comitare, comitor means I accompany. And the RE here, RI here means it's an infinitive, and so it means to blank. Do you wish to accompany me? Virgilius is nominative, that'll be the dictionary form, so that'll be the subject. Ad erit you would look up ad sum. It's a little more complicated than that. What you'll find are the tenses of ad sum will look like this. Ad sum, present tense. Ad erat, ad eram, I was present, I was near, I am near. Oops. I was near. Ad ero, I will be near. Okay, so the stem that we have, if you wanted to go further into ad ero, what you would find is it would be ad eris, you will be near. Ad erit, he will be near, he will be present. Okay, so that's the form we have here, the future tense of ad erit. So be sure and write all this down that I'm typing in here. Okay, write down these forms and what they mean, and write down that it's future tense, third person singular. Okay. Alius, aliique is again two parts. Alius is the singular, alii is the nominative plural. Okay. And the que part just means and. So and others it would be. Okay. Amici, you look up amicus, accented like this because that I is long. Amici, amicus, friend, so the plural of friend is friends. Si is the same as in the dictionary. Tu we had before. Statim means right away. Proficiscor comes in several times in this reading. Proficiscor means I set out. This ending looks remarkably like this ending, doesn't it? And this was future, so that's what it is here too. Proficisceris. So not I set out, but first of all it ends in is, so that's you, and not I am setting out, but I will set out. Okay. Be sure and write down the rationale for how I got to that. Okay, don't just write down the meaning. Cum. Cum could be either a preposition or it could be a conjunction. And the quick way to determine which it is to look at the next, the following word. If the following word has this ending, something that could quite possibly be ablative, then you should just assume this is the preposition with. Okay. So Virgilius, the endings for this word when it's declined. Virgilius, the name of the famous poet, so that would be nominative. If something belonged to Virgil, it would be Virgilii, genitive. If you gave something to Virgil, you would give it Virgilio, to Virgil. If you did something to Virgil, it would be you hit Virgil, for example. Virgilium, we call that accusative. And then we have this form here, Virgilio, the ablative. This form and this form are identical, but only formally. We say formally. That is by form. They're not. This word can only be one or the other. It can't be both. It can't be ambiguous. Okay. Statistically, you're a lot more likely to have this be an ablative than a dative. There are just statistically many more ablatives in a page of Latin than a dative. You need certain conditions to have a dative present. You can't just put one anywhere. Okay. So, and with cum in the vicinity, it's almost certain this is ablative singular and means with Virgil. So ego we had once before. Vobis is from vos. If you looked up the declension of vos, it would be vos, nominative and accusative. You, nominative and accusative. Vestry, your, sort of like nostri, our. And then the dative slash ablative. Okay. So in this case, I know I said you're much more likely that this is to be ablative than dative, but there is one further condition here. We have the word okuram, which when you look it up will say okuram plus dative. Sorry about that. Plus the dative. Okay, that means the direct object. If you wrote he meets me, you would write okurit mihi. He met me. You wouldn't write he met me. That would sound funny to a Roman. Okurit mihi. Okay, so that's why in this case vobis, since it's a likely object of okuram, is going to be dative. Okay. The second problem for this is the ending am, sort of an unusual ending for a verb. And if it's just am, not, for example, bam or eram, just stem, and then the ending am, this is likely going to be future. Could also be subjunctive in different endings, but don't worry about that now. So this is not I meet, but I will meet. I shall meet. Nam is the word you know already. You can look it up. Tot means so many. Negotiis has this ending here. If you look up negotium, it'll tell you that it means it's the negative of otium. And since otium means leisure, negotium means the absence of leisure, that is busyness. Okay. The way the word would, the different forms of negotium in the plural, well, singular and plural, would be this. Negotium would be nominative and accusative. Negotii, belonging to business. Negotio would be dative slash ablative. Okay. So it's a shorter paradigm than other words. The plural would be negotia. That's both nominative and accusative. The forms are identical because it's a neuter noun. Negotiorum. Negotiorum, genitive. And then the dative ablative form, negotiis. Okay, so far so good. So our form could be either dative or ablative. So our prima facie assumption is going to be that it's ablative, as I told you. So occupatus, occupo means I'm busy. Occupatus means I am busy. And ablatives without a preposition like this one here generally answer the question how or with what. Okay. I am busy with business, occupied by business. Say with or by. Sum we had above. Ut means, you can just look it up. In this case, it means several things. In this case, it means to. That's, you can just look up. That's the form in the dictionary. To profikiski. This ending e, the case of this verb is the infinitive to blank. So just oprofiki score we had above, so you won't have to worry too much about it, to pasim. This form, sim, is the subjunctive. The subjunctive of pasum. It's only subjunctive because grammatically in Latin, if you start a clause with ut, the verb has to be subjunctive. So, but it just means to be able to set out today. Okay. Let's see if we have any more of these. We have quite a lot more, and I have to go to class now. So do that much, and then do as much more of it as you can during class. All right? You can look up the words on Google Wiktionary. Look up Wiktionary, and you'll find all these words, or in a regular dictionary. Okay? So that's all.